Hey, what's up, North County? I'm your host, Randy Doty, and today we are talking with Austin Solheim with Echo Shelters. Awesome. Thanks for coming in, man.
No, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it. I feel like it's been so long since I've been able to come on and talk, so it's good to see you guys.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to wear your cowboy hat.
It's going to happen one of these times.
I know.
I got to bring it out.
I thought sure. I'm like, okay, I got to bring my cowboy hats because I know Austin's going to bring his.
All right.
I can't not be wearing it, and he is, and it just looks weird.
All right. Next time it's a promise. I'll bring it.
So what's been happening with over there at Echo Shelters? You got something coming up on April 10th, huh?
We do. So we have our Empty Bowls fundraiser returning. Okay. It's one of our biggest fundraisers, in my opinion, one of just the most fun events of the year that we do. It's all about soup and bringing people together for just a wonderful evening to give back to the community. So we have a bunch of different soup providers from local restaurants. We have beautiful bowls that are made by local artisans. The ones that you see right here were all made by local high school students, Paso Robles High School, Morro Bay High School, and Atascadero High School as well.
So is this something that their ceramics department or their arts, I guess they call it ceramics department,
right? You got it, yeah.
That like you reach out to them, say, hey, can you make us, your students make us, 50, 100 bowls or whatever, and they do, or do they do it on their own? Do they reach out to you? How does that work? Yeah,
so we've connected. I mean, over the years, this event has just grown and grown and grown. And so we have created this amazing relationship with both local artisans and then the schools as well. The schools are incredible because you have kids that are just learning to make bowls. And so we actually have a few of our artists that go in and they'll do some celebrity teaching spots.
Oh, really?
And there's just so many ways to make different bowls, right? I think everybody traditionally thinks of throwing it on a wheel.
So this came from Cuesta.
That one came from Cuesta right there, yeah. So, throwing them on a wheel, but you can also lay a bowl over a rock, and you can fold a bowl over a rock. You can even cut a bowl in different slits and put it together and fold it almost like origami.
Oh, really?
There's so many different ways, and we're just
Have you made any bowls yourself?
I have. I actually got the opportunity to make bowls at Paso Robles High School with some of the students, and then also we have an incredible relationship with the Pottery in Atascadero, and they do a make a bowl, give a bowl. So if you come in, you can buy a ticket, and you can actually make a bowl there and give a bowl to Echo, which is really cool.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
So this is called the Pottery in Atascadero?
Yeah, they have a location in Atascadero, Los Osos, and Grover Beach now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's just all ceramic stuff?
All ceramic stuff. All about doing different things. They do a lot of fun date night classes, and then they do a lot of classes around kids too.
Oh, no
so
kidding.
Having opportunities, and then they allow a lot of our shelter residents and a lot of our families to come in and really just work with the clay, work with their hands. And so it's a really fun opportunity to just get your hands dirty.
Oh, I'm going to have to check them out because that sounds fun.
It's really fun.
And you get to make a bowl.
Yeah. My bowls don't look quite as nice as this,
These are top notch. I mean, I'm not
good.
These look, here's this one's another Cuesta. But I mean, these things are really cool. Dude, this one's heavy, dude. You do not want to get this on upside the head.
No. It's not going to fall over, though, if you put a bunch of soup in it.
This one's not going to fall over at all. But like wine glasses, when you do that, it's like flips over. So what's the good news happening over there at Echo? I see a lot of success. I see a lot of success stories. I see you guys have some residents going in and out, with great success. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's been an absolutely incredible start to the year. We were coming off 2024 being our most successful year of getting individuals and families back into stable housing. We really kind of calculate that through our two programs, our shelter and outreach, and then also our homeless prevention. And in 2024, we had 256 individuals and families that got back into stable housing just through shelter and outreach, and then another 97 that we were able to keep housed through our homeless prevention. But this year, just so far in 2025, just up until March, we've already helped 109 individuals and families through shelter outreach and homeless prevention.
Man, you're almost at 50% from last year.
Yeah, we're just doing it.
And you're only in the first quarter.
We're only in the first quarter.
Wow, that's great.
It's absolutely incredible. Just last month in February, I think we had 64 individuals and families move back into stable housing just through our shelter and outreach programs.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
How do they come to you? Do you guys go out there and how does that all work, Austin?
It's both. We absolutely have people that come to us, right, when something has happened, right? They get either referred to us from a different agency. We do a lot of work with our local law enforcement as well. And so, they might be referring someone to our shelter programs, but we also have an outreach case manager that goes out into the community and finds people, meets them where they're at, and really does a lot to just help navigate some of those resources. I think one of the most interesting programs is our homeless prevention program, though, because originally, that program is all about keeping people housed, right? Making sure that they're not entering into homelessness. How can we become that stopgap? How can we make sure that they have a sustainability plan and connect them with all the available resources to stay in their housing rather than having to come into the shelter? And originally we were doing outreach to the individuals. We were trying to connect with them, but we actually found that the best way was to reach out to the landlords and let them know about this resource, because they're the ones that are going to know that, hey, the rent's late this month, what's going on, and having that conversation with their tenants, and then referring them, potentially understanding that, hey, you've been my tenant for 15 years, right? Understand that you lost your job, something happened, you're living paycheck to paycheck. Here's this resource in our community that can help you stay housed, because they don't want to go out and find another tenant for their place either. They want to continue that relationship.
Now, Austin, let me stop you right there. Now, what exactly does that mean? So there's like some sort of financial assistance that they could apply for, or?
That's part of it. That's part of it. So it could be like a 1 month stopgap, right? And we only have the ability to pay for, like, for example, a 1 month opportunity. So, if someone lost their job, right? Their car broke down. Their laundry machine went out. Something happened in their lives where they are, they're short, right, on money for their rent that month. We can come in and help support them, but the key for us to be able to support that person is having a sustainability plan. So say they lost their job for 2 weeks, right? And that 2 week gap, now they're making that decision, do I pay for groceries and do I pay for rent this month? Right. We want to be able to make sure that they can do both, right? And so we'll help with that financial situation. We can only do 1 month, but the key is making sure that they have a sustainability plan to maintain that housing too. We can't just say, okay, we're going to pay this month and then we're going to pay it next month and we're going to pay it next month. We can only do that for 1 month. So really working with that person. But the key to keeping them in that housing is also setting them up with all of the available resources throughout our county. There's so many things that people don't know that are out there, right? I mean, sometimes it's as simple as signing someone up for food stamps, getting them on assistance programs throughout our county that can help them, even with childcare and different things like that. And so if we can connect them with those, do maybe a little financial literacy along the way and just help them to sustain that housing, that's so much more important and more efficient than having them enter homelessness, enter the shelter, stay with us for up to 6 months, and then
try to fix the problem before it becomes.
Exactly.
Now, are these assistant programs, are they more geared for the landlord, or are they geared more for the tenant?
They're geared for the tenant, 100% for the tenant. But what we found in our, when we were really starting to do this program, and we've only really been doing this since about 2020, we started kind of experimenting with doing some of this, right? I mean, when we kind of came out of the pandemic and the different things there, right? There was the eviction freeze, if you will, right? And a lot of people lost their jobs during that time and, kind of stayed where they were trying to figure different things out. What we started to see, especially over the last 4 years, is that there was this growing group of individuals that were experiencing homelessness for the very first time, right? So not necessarily someone that is chronically homeless, that has been on the street for over a year, homeless multiple times, but a big growing population of people experiencing homelessness for the very first time, households, families. And so this homeless prevention kind of blossomed of, okay, we need to work on this because inflation is growing, right? Rental costs just continue to grow. So how can we create a stopgap and decrease the numbers of people becoming homeless while still helping through our shelter and outreach programs for the people that are already homeless too? How can we hit this from both ends and make a true impact here in North County and our community?
I mean, so you guys have you have a campus in Atascadero, you have a campus in Paso Robles. There are always, kind of additions are being kind of done up, like you guys did the garden and all that stuff up in Paso. Atascadero, you guys have a wicked garden. We got to tour that last year. We'll have to do that again and see what else is going on. But you guys have a really cool facility there in Atascadero that we've been through. And then the garden area is like, there's like some really cool, like a lot of produce right there. Yeah,
we're actually going through, we're planting some of the items in our garden right now. So we've taken that garden to, in my opinion, the next level too, which I'm really excited for. So last year, we embarked on kind of a new program, which is a workforce development and kitchen program. at our Atascadero campus, we have that beautiful commercial kitchen. And so what we started doing is taking individuals, residents from our programs into that and giving them the opportunity to learn their ServSafe, their food handler certification, and then culinary skills in our kitchen as well that directly tie into hospitality jobs here on the Central Coast. And it has been awesome. And so this year, they actually went through the garden and they designed the garden in a way that has different culinary elements. So if they're going to do a French cooking, they're going to go to this garden bed. If they're going to do an Italian, they're going to do this garden bed. And so it's going to be really exciting to see the opportunities, and they're going to be pulling from that garden bed directly and then learning how to cook with the elements that they're growing this year, which is awesome.
So when you do the culinary stuff there, is it only for the residents that are there, or is it for... Because I know you have people that come there during the daytime, excuse me, that aren't living there as well, right?
Yeah.
Because you have a shower program, you have a laundry program, you have multiple different programs for, the homeless that's in the area that's not necessarily a resident per se.
No, the culinary program definitely, if we have someone that's interested in doing that may not be a part of our program, we'll absolutely connect with them, invite them to come on and be a part of that. If they're showing interest, we've definitely had, we've even had clients that have been residents that have moved out that have still returned to be a part of some of those programs and learning those different opportunities to help them advance in their jobs and careers. We've had several, folks that have used the opportunity of the kitchen program to just get a job, to get their foothold at a local restaurant, even at the local hospitals, at the local schools, getting different opportunities to work in different kitchens across the Central Coast.
What is your rebound for the people for like employment? So like you were saying, the culinary. Do you look at the community that we live in? Like what's here? We're heavy in the wine industry, so you got, vintners, you got field work, you got, all these different aspects of just winery is probably more than I can even know. Again, culinary, you got a heavy, culinary area. So do you guys kind of like look at that as when you bring these, educational programs in, so then that way when they're done, they can actually go out into the field into something that's nearby?
That's exactly why we started the workforce development and culinary program, right? We were actually sitting down talking to partners, and they were having partners throughout our community, restaurant owners that were having a hard time hiring frontline staff, right? And back of the house staff. They were just looking for these opportunities. And so during that conversation we just had, I'm like, what were the basic skills that you're looking for someone? And when we're working with our folks, right? I mean, we're constantly thinking, how can we help them to get their foothold, get back into it? So many of them came from different careers, different walks of life. And I think the hardest thing is just imagining themselves doing something new, doing something different. But if we can provide just that little bit of skill set, that little bit of foundation in-house, they feel so much more confident in themselves to apply for those opportunities too. So we were actually looking a lot of what Paso is doing, right? I mean, the hospitality industry up here is just growing in North County, right? New hotels popping up, new entertainment options popping up, and then we got, enough wineries, right?
Right.
There's
an
opportunity.
Get a lot of those.
And each one of them have a beautiful kitchen, a different program, right? A different culinary aspect. So we saw, especially, in North County, just this opportunity for people to take a leap of faith into a new industry, into the culinary industry, into the hospitality industry, and be able to make a career out of it here in North County. And so that's really what blossomed into our workforce development program today.
That's cool. Do you have any success stories that you have sent these guys off to different restaurants that you can talk about?
We do. We actually have, we have had a handful of people that have actually gone into working at local restaurants, specifically in downtown Atascadero. And that's been really, really awesome to have that opportunity. But I think one of the things that really surprised us, and one of the things that's been really incredible, is that originally when we started this workforce development program, we kind of thought that local restaurants were going to be our niche, right? We were like, okay, this is it. We can help train for this. We can do this, because that was really the partners that we were talking to. But what we didn't realize is that there was this growing need outside of that. And so now we have clients that are working in nursing homes. We have clients that are working in hospitals. We have clients that got in full-time jobs at the school district, at Atascadero State Hospital. And those groups have started reaching out to us saying, hey, can you send us more people, right? And now you're not just talking about, maybe a part-time job, you're talking about a full-time opportunity, right? 365 days a year, right? Having the opportunity to go in and get a salary job with benefits, working for the school district. It's been really cool to see how this program has just evolved and the need to help fill that position throughout our county.
So you're almost like a staffing agency almost.
In a way. And our goal eventually is to even be able, as we grow that program and work with our clients, to invite partners on to do a job fair with us, right? I mean, we've had conversations with a lot of those different folks about being able to come on site once we have a big group of people that are all graduating from our program to come on site and do a potential hiring event. We've also had, one of my favorite things is we have some celebrity chefs from local restaurants that have come in and done some specialty classes. And during that time, they've met with a few of our clients and even hired them and asked them to come in and interview at their restaurants after that opportunity and after that class.
Wow, that's a great system there, because it does, obviously, you hear about restaurants needing workers, not being able to hire quality people. If they do hire somebody, they last a week, not even that. And so you're actually, giving those stepping stones to back into society.
Yeah. And so many of our clients in our 90-day program, they're looking for that opportunity, right? I mean, their goal, so many of the people that come through our program, their goal is to save up money so that they can afford, when you're talking about rents, right? You're going to need first, last, and a security deposit to be able to get into that place. So the sooner that they can get into that job, the sooner that they can get into that workforce, they can start saving and using their time at Echo and then working towards that housing opportunity. So they're hungry for that work.
Yeah. Do you guys have any type of assistance in that for the residents, when they're going in, like with the landlord, or you have some relationships with some apartment, building owners, landlords type stuff?
We do. And I, one of the most recent favorite stories that I have is there is a woman that we've been working with for about 6 months. So came into our 90-day program and hit the ground running right from the beginning. This is an individual that ended up getting into kind of a hospitality job. But, when we were talking with her just the other day, she said, I put in over 100 job applications. And I remember talking to her a few months ago when she put in 30 and she got denied for all 30 of her job applications.
Were they given a reason?
They weren't. I think, they had, hiring there and, maybe there was some stigma around, where she was coming from, all of this, but she just needed that opportunity to get her foot in the door. And so she's now been employed for over 5 months at one place, right? That 101st application. And then the same thing with her rental opportunities. She put application in after application after application, and finally she's going to be moving into stable housing. And, she's actually moving into an apartment right down the street from our Atascadero campus. She's so excited to be right from the lake. She says she's going to get a scooter and she's going to go around the lake every single day. That's going to be her self-care. And she's working full-time at a local grocery store in Atascadero. And she just said, if I can give anybody one piece of advice, it would just be to not give up. She's like, I almost gave up. When I got denied 30 applications that I applied for, I was ready to give up, right? But I just kept going and it just kept getting easier. And it just wasn't the right fit. It wasn't the right fit. I needed to get my foot in the door. And, it was the 101st application that hit. And she got that opportunity, got her foot in the door.
Wow. You think about that, and I guess you don't think about that, especially if they're living at Echo. Obviously, their current residents, they have to put Echo shelters. Yeah. So as an employer looking at that, you see, a potential. Yeah. A potential risk, a potential success. You don't really know how to judge that. Now, do they call you guys and kind of deep dive a little bit on these applicants?
They don't. We have certain partners that we absolutely work with, and if we have that client's permission, we can absolutely kind of share that information. But a lot of the times, like this story, she did this all on her own. This was 100% her driven, trying to do this. And I definitely know there was some nervousness, right? When she was applying for those jobs and when she was interviewing for those jobs, she wanted it so bad. And I could tell that was coming across in her interviews. But she didn't give up, right? She kept going. And as she went through the program, there's so many additional resources that we have to provide for that person, right? And so when someone comes into that program for the first 30 days, right, it really is about them just kind of getting, I would say, level, right? You know, coming down from being potentially in an encampment or somewhere else, like really just adjusting back into kind of that atmosphere of normalcy, right? Not worrying about, hey, where's my next meal going to come from? Where am I going to sleep tomorrow night? Am I going to be warm enough tonight, right? Those things start to fade away. And so that it helps that person really kind of level out their mentality and then be able to do that out in the community. And so, I mean, that person, right? I mean, she was absolutely so hungry. She knew that she had to get a job. She knew that was part of her case plan and part of her housing plan and part of her goals. But it kind of took her that time to really readjust and utilize the services that we have and tap into all of the programming that we have too. I mean, throughout the shelter, we have, of course, our case management and our 90-day program, but we have over probably 30 programs a week that are available to our clients to tap into. Some are just self-care. Some are more...
And when you say clients, you mean the residents?
The residents, yeah. Okay, the residents in the 90-day program and the ones that, you know, are outreach clients that come for dinner. But, you know, everything from therapy to we have, you know, emotional support. We have a fainting goat that comes on site every 2 weeks. A fainting goat.
Fainting?
Fainting.
Oh, fainting.
Yes, an emotional support goat. And miniature horse, right? I mean, just these little things to be able to provide that self-care. The garden, right? I mean, the garden program is just an opportunity for someone to get outside and get their hands in the dirt and just be able to grow something, right? All of those help someone to just adjust and be ready for that next step. They're all incredibly important along the way, as well as that 90-day program supporting them back into housing.
So what does a typical like what's involved? Okay, so you guys go out and you guys make your, you know, contacts. Somebody finally asks for help, right? What does the next 90 days look like? What's the first day to the 90-day? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing that we do with a person is the only requirement to stay at Echo and be a part of our program is that they have to work towards housing. But what that means for each individual person is going to look very different, right? We have certain people that we've already talked about that are really going to be on that workforce development and saving track. They're going to want to find that job, find that opportunity, save up their money, and be able to use that to pay for, you know, their deposit and all of the things. We have other folks that come through our program that are going to be really more focused on their physical and mental health when they're with us, right? So sometimes it's going to look a lot more like establishing doctor's appointments, doing those different pieces. So I would say in the first 90 days, right, the first things that we're doing is we've kind of established a foundational checklist, right? Some of the biggest things on there are an ID, a birth certificate, a social security, all of your identification. Echo will pay to help you get all of that. And then you can also use Echo as a mailing address, because if you don't have a mailing address, you can't get any of that. And then we're really going to figure out kind of what the track that person's on at that time, right? Is this going to be a person that maybe will qualify because of their situation for permanent supportive housing in our community? Do we need to start working on those applications? Or is this a person that's going to be more on that workforce development track? Right? Is the opportunities, and sometimes we're just creating the structures, right? You know, it's our case management team really meeting them where they're at, helping them with transportation opportunities to get to where they need to go, right? And really establishing that pathway into housing. So creating kind of, okay, these are the steps that we need to take, but it's all driven by the client. We never make the decision of where they're going to go and how they're going to get back into housing. Our mission statement is all about empowering them to make those choices, and we're going to help kind of set up the guardrails to point them in the right direction, if that makes sense.
Huh. And do you have, like, you probably don't have 100% success as far as with the clients, right?
Yeah.
Or do you?
No, we don't have 100% success. We do about 55 to 60% of the folks that come through our 90-day program successfully exit into stable housing. Okay. And that, we're incredibly proud of that number.
Is that a standard? I mean, what do you guys know as a homeless organization like you guys are nationwide? Are you guys on scale with the other success rates? So
we are much higher than normal success rates for emergency shelter programs.
Okay.
And part of the reason is because when you talk about emergency shelter, right, it talks about kind of a vast grouping of different ways, right? The way that Echo views emergency shelter is, having that 90-day program, having someone to come in and have that stable place for 90 days, doing 30-day extensions and really working towards securing stable housing. There's other emergency shelter models that take someone off the street just for a night and then they go back onto the street during the day, right? And that, that is really common throughout the United States as an emergency shelter.
But you guys
model.
have that as well, don't you?
We do a handful of beds that are like that, really to address some emergency situations, but it's not our preferred way of helping someone. Not that it's not life-saving, not that it's not important.
Not your guys' design of your program.
We don't want to just, and not that we don't want to get that person off the street for the night, but we want to get that person off the street and back into stable housing. And so when you look at that night-by-night model, you're deemed nationally successful if you get 10% of the people that you serve back into stable housing. But when you look at Echo's 90-day model, right, we get 50 to 60% of the individuals back into stable housing. And not only do we get those individuals back into stable housing, but 90% of those individuals stay housed. And that is the number we're most proud of. That is housing retention, right? I mean, that is not just, hey, we're going to get this person to housing and then they're going to show up at the shelter 6 months later, right? We want to make sure that that person has all of the available resources to stay in that housing and retain that housing. And so that for us is the most important number. And that is all the additional programming that comes alongside and all the things we do to help prepare that person along the way.
That's cool. And, I also want to highlight the fact that, again, and we always talk about this, when you think homeless, you think when you pull off the freeway, you see that, you see the drug abuse, you see, the tents, you see the massive amounts of carts and trash and this and that. But there's also a different homelessness that, you don't see. And that's the families and the kids, that again, against their luck, they have been kicked out to the street. They have nobody to fall back onto. Schooling. Schooling. They don't want to take their kids out of school, so they want to stay here versus moving to somewhere else. To be a family or something. So there, and you guys have that as well, huh?
We do. I mean, that's the one thing I always like to say is that person that you see, right? That perception that we have of homelessness, it absolutely is there, right? I'm not saying that doesn't exist by any means whatsoever, and we absolutely serve that person too. That individual that you see driving down the street, right? That tent. We're absolutely trying to outreach and work with that person and have them come into the shelter too. But homelessness is so much bigger than that, right? I mean, really, the two biggest growing populations in our community right now are seniors that are affected by homelessness, that are being priced out of their homes.
Oh, yeah.
And then households, families that are experiencing homelessness for the very first time. Those are the two highest growing populations in our community, and it really has to do with rents and inflation and different pieces, right? And so, we have to really adjust our services, but more than half of our shelter beds at Echo are dedicated to families and serving families with children.
Why couldn't you guys partner up with somebody like, Habitat for Humanity or something like that? Because you see some of these tiny homes. I mean, these things are very spacey, and, to have like I say an acre parcel, 2 acre parcel. I mean, you could put 30 of those on there.
Yeah.
And, is there programs like that?
I would say not yet in our community. I mean, we have so many wonderful partners, and I will say even Habitat for Humanity is a wonderful partner for our clients. They even do, they have the Restore, right? They're kind of social enterprise, and when one of our clients moves out, they actually get a gift card to go to that Restore and be able to buy things at a discounted price, which I love really that store. Cool. They're wonderful, wonderful partners. If we have someone moving out and we need something specific, we'll give them a call, and usually they'll be able to provide that for that person too. So,
very cool.
I love models like that, right? I think there's a lot of hesitation from the community to do different things like that, and then I know there's so many laws in California that prevent building things at a low cost, unfortunately. And so
stupid.
The more housing that we have, though, right, the more affordable housing that we have, the less of this problem we have, right? And so I think there's absolutely opportunity to do things like that. We would love to see more things like that pop up in our community and have opportunities and learn from, maybe other organizations and other people from throughout the state and throughout the country that have done a good job of that. I think it would be an incredible opportunity. We do have land here. We just need to make sure that we, have all the infrastructure and everything to go into it. But I think it would be an incredible opportunity to do something like that.
Do you guys ever have like your residents? You say clients. I'm going to say residents.
I like residents.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Where they come back and give back?
Yes, so many times. So, one of the things that makes Echo special is our volunteers in general. We have over 3,000 volunteers that spend their time and talent with us every year, helping provide different services. And so many of those are actually former residents of our program. Right now, too, we actually have, we have so many people on our staff that have lived experience and members of our team that are former residents of our program too, that now offer their experience to our residents that are currently part of our program.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's gonna warm your heart. Just, these people, these genuine people. Everybody, everybody's human soul is warming. You know what I'm saying? To be able to provide and see that in the eyes, and then see them after they went through the program, and remembering where they were at, where they are ended in your program, and then, where they're at now. Mm-hmm. It's got to be pretty, heartwarming.
It's incredible, and Echo has been in our community since 2001, and so one of the things that always amazes me is no matter where I go, if I'm wearing my Echo name badge, or if I'm wearing my Echo shirt, right? Almost every single month, someone will pull me aside. A partner that I would have no idea would just pull me aside and say, "Hey, thank you for what you guys do. I wouldn't be here without you." Right? Just that little thing. It's amazing how many people have been affected by homelessness in our community that you would never know, right? That are now stable, that are now working, throughout our community, throughout the Central Coast, and have that stability, and just it's really amazing to see. We're so grateful. Next year we're going to be, we'll have our 25th anniversary, and it's just incredible to see the impact that Echo has had through the past 25 years.
Very awesome, Austin. So we're talking about your next event coming up, April 10th, Empty Bowls.
Yep.
Which you have, and I've been a part of that for the last 3 years, which you just reminded me. I thought it was only 2, but last 3 years.
Last 3 years, that's right.
3 years, and so I'll be serving again, which I'm super honored to be asked again. But I was really surprised my very first year, because again, I've never heard of this, and then this is what we're hopefully doing here on What's Up North County is help spreading the word, getting this information out there. But most importantly of that information is the soups. So these soups are donated by local chefs, local restaurants, and tell me about what you have donated from these restaurants.
Yeah, so that's it's one of the most incredible things about the event. So yeah, we have, and this year we're really excited. We have 2 events. So we have one in Atascadero on April 10th, and then also one in Paso Robles on April 24th as well. Tickets are available on echoshelter.org, but it is all soup that is donated from local restaurants. Some of the restaurants we're really excited to highlight are Street Side, we have Pacific Harvest Catering, we have Sylvester's, we have a couple of people from the coast from Morro Bray, we have Halfway Station doing an incredible gumbo this year. There's just so many different restaurants that help provide this amazing culinary experience, and you get to take home one of these beautiful bowls, right?
You get to and you get to pick it out yourself.
You get to pick it out yourself,
because you guys have a massive table area right before you go into the facility to pick out your bowl.
We have over 1,000 bowls for people to come and pick out the one that speaks to them, of all different shapes and sizes and colors. There are some that were, like I said, some that have been made by professional artists, and others that have been made by students making a bowl for the very first time. It is just absolutely incredible.
And so this happens April 10th at the Atascadero Lake Pavilion from 11 to 1 p.m. And what's the cost?
So it's $50 for the Atascadero event, and then $100 for the evening event in Paso Robles.
Because that one includes like wine.
That one includes, wine and beer and
How come you never invite me to that one?
I'll invite you to that one. $100 tickets. Yeah, I'm just kidding. But no,
that's awesome.
It's really, really cool, and we're very excited. This year, this has been a tradition for Echo to do for almost 10 years.
Where did it come from? Who like thought of this?
This was something that was that actually I believe started before a lot of our team was here. This was actually driven by a lot of our board members in the community as a way to kind of just support Echo and support our mission, right? It really just became, I mean, there's something just synonymous with soup and a shelter program, right? And having that. And so it really became kind of just this opportunity to connect with people. And it really started without the bowls, right? Originally, they actually used to go to, the board would go into a bunch of the thrift shops and they would just buy old bowls from all the thrift shops. There wasn't necessarily like this handmade component. And then there were a couple of local artisans that got involved and they were like, hey, we want to make the bowls for this event. We want to help create that. And those artists are still part of the event today, which makes me very, very just incredibly grateful. So they have really worked to help us to create the connections with a lot of the teachers, right? The local artist community is very, very tight knit here, the local ceramicists. And so we just love being able to be a part of it, and they love being able to donate bowls and come to the event. And it really is just this incredible opportunity where you have art, food, and all for a good cause. All of the proceeds that we make from the event go directly back into serving our clients. And we have so many incredible community sponsors that help provide for this event. I think we have 35 total sponsors this year that are helping to support Empty Bowls as well.
Well, I was really surprised last year of the soups. I've been surprised every year because, again, I think soup. But there were so many different varieties from really some top shelf chefs, local chefs. But the biggest, I always talk to everybody when they're coming around and getting bowls. I'm like, oh, what's your favorite? This and that. That last year I think you had a couple different like competing that they were the same one. I'm like, oh, which one did you like best? But I always find that gumbo and then the tomato soup are the favorites.
I think, for some reason, they're the classics. I will tell you, the clam chowder, though, is back this year. We didn't have a particular clam chowder this year that's coming back, or last year that's coming back for this year. So there might be one that beat it this year. That's all I'm saying.
Awesome.
We'll see.
Do you give top awards?
We don't.
That would be an additional. So I'm just going to throw this out there. So people give you an additional $5. So they get to bet, they get to like drop something, in their favorite soup that you guys had, and then you give, the winner, whatever. But it would be an additional engagement of your, because these guys are already pumped because you guys have had people coming up here from like don't even live here, coming here for this event for years and years and years. And it's just a cool event. It's cool to see how many people go there at that time because you have two servings, right? You have Paso and Atascadero. So different, morning, afternoon. So then that way people can get to it. But as far as like the amount of people that come through there, the amount of soup that we go through and been through, and it just blows me away. It blows me away. I think it's an awesome program. I think you do great. You and Wendy do awesome over there at Echo Shelters. You guys are, definitely serving the community and the people that live in it. And then you're making it fun as well. Empty bowls.
We try. And we have 4 brand new soup providers this year. So I'm hoping we maybe have some new ones, some competition, for your soups this year.
Well, before we go out, can you throw out any names of some of the chefs and restaurants that you're going to have?
Yeah. So one of our new ones is Toshi Sushi. In Atascadero.
Whoa,
they're going to do a Thai coconut soup that's going to come through, which is, I think, going to be really good. We also have the Nest coming back, which we're very excited for. I think Stacy's doing a tortellini sausage soup for the event, which is going to be pretty exciting. And then we have a clam chowder coming from our very own Morro Bay, which is just going to be out of this world amazing, which we're very excited for. So there's 3 right off the bat. I'm going to give you 3 sneak peeks. Awesome. But we'll be announcing the soups about a week before the event. So coming up next week, we'll kind of be putting everything on our social media, just sharing all of the soups and thanking all of our wonderful soup providers for donating and being a part of this event.
Awesome. And how can people get tickets, or where do they go to get more information about this?
Yeah, for more information about both of the events, you can visit echoshelter.org, click on our events tab. All of the information for Atascadero and Paso is right under there. And please, check out all of our amazing sponsors, all of the local businesses, including What's Up North County, who just helps provide and shares information throughout our community. We're just so thankful to you guys and all of our wonderful sponsors who help support Echo and Empty Bowls.
Awesome. Austin,
thanks
for coming in, man. I appreciate what you guys do, and fortunate and honored to be a part of it again this year, and looking forward to do some other stuff too.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, there you have it, guys. Hey, make sure you guys get and be a part of this Empty Bowls Echo Shelters of Atascadero, guys. You don't want to miss this, coming up April 10th. Get over to echoshelters.org. Make sure you guys get your tickets. $50. You can't miss it. Pick up one of these awesome bowls. These are handmade. They're one-ofs. These are one-ofs, and you're going to dig it. It's going to be great looking up in your cabinet of dishes. But as always, guys, we can't do this without you and our sponsors. We'd like to thank Esquire Wine Travelers Hideaway. Visit Atascadero, 805 Customs, MGP Coatings, North County Junk Removal, The Trailer Barn, Story Termite Pest Control, Borhone Auto Center, Kennedy Club Fitness, Airflow Filter Services, and Suprema Meat Markets. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you next time.
Hi, this is Dave Story, small game hunter with Story Termite and Pest. We're a full-service termite and pest control company. From rodents to termites, we can take care of all your pest control needs. Call today, we can tailor a pest control program that will meet your needs and budget. Contact us at 805-460-0650 or at storytermite.com. Remember, we don't have customers, we have friends.
Hi, it's Alex with Suprema Meat Market. We are a Mexican meat market with a taqueria. Come enjoy our high-quality cuts and meats. We offer choice and prime Harris Ranch beef, as well as chicken, seafood, and pork items. In the taqueria, all of our tacos come with handmade tortillas. We also offer specialty items like chilaquiles and chile rellenos. Come enjoy Taco Tuesday with Suprema. We offer our tacos at $1.99 each. Suprema Meat Market is located at 8950 Montecito Avenue in Atascadero.
Are you tired of looking at that worn-out concrete garage floor, patio, or porch? Look no further than MGP Coatings, where customer service reigns supreme. Our team goes above and beyond to ensure your satisfaction every step of the way. Before we even start coating, we meticulously repair your concrete, ensuring a flawless finish that lasts. And here's the best part. Our Pentec coatings are 4 times stronger than epoxy, so they won't chip or peel, making maintenance a breeze. Plus, they come with a limited lifetime warranty. Call us today at 805-952-5301 or check out our Facebook and Instagram and experience the MGP coating difference. Don't wait. Transform your garage, patio, porch, or driveway and become a part of the MGP coating family.
What's up, North County? This is Teresa Branch with Airflow Filter Service. We are a family-owned business right here in the North County. We have air filters, oils and lubricants, and hydraulic hoses. We provide services that include air filter cleaning, DPF cleaning, and waste oil collection. Come check us out at 1140 Ramada Drive, and we can help you with all your automotive and industrial vehicle needs.
Hi, this is Omid
and Deanna
at North County Junk Removal. We are a business known for helping our neighbors and our community.
Let us help you save money and get rid of any unwanted items.
And rest assured that our professional team adheres to global standards of safety and recycling. We are fully licensed and insured for your peace of mind.
We are locally owned and operated, and we look forward to helping you with all your junk removal needs.
Please call us at 805-769-6966.
Atascadero isn't your standard getaway. We're unique, just like you. We're growing, transforming, transforming, and figuring it out as we go. We're a town filled with innovators, artists, makers, and game changers. We're a little bit country, a little bit funky, and always authentic. We're here for your good times, your slow times, and your changing times. We're all in Atascadero. Come see for yourself. Learn more at visitatascadero.com.